Hello and welcome to This Date in History, also known as TDH. This show is all about the events that occurred to date in years past, both recognized by actual historians, but mainly things that we personally find intriguing enough for us to bring to you. Sources of this information come from the Smart Device application, Today in History, What Happened Today in History,
Historical calendar.
and the website onthisdate.com. For links to those sources, the music, and anything else we gather throughout the show, check the description. Anyway, I am Xander.
Lunk.
And today is Freya's Day, also known as Friday, March 11th, 2022. Why don't you start us off?
I will. In 222, Alexander Severus becomes Emperor of Rome, replacing his cousin, 18-year-old Elagabalus. The bodies of the assassinated emperor and his mother, Julia Solmanius, are dragged through the streets of the city and thrown into the Tiber.
Yeah, that's the river that goes through Rome, that Rome was built around. That's awful. That's horrible. Dragging bodies around. Moving on up to 1343, Arnost of Pardubice became the last bishop of Prague, 3rd of March, 1343 OS, whatever that is. And a year later, the first archbishop of Prague. Okay, that's confusing.
Also, 1649, the Frondiers and the French sign of peace of Royale.
What is the Peace of Royale? We missed one, by the way, in 1641, but let me look up the Peace of Royale.
In 1641, Irani forces living in the Jesus reduction defeat Bandeiri's royal to the Portuguese Empire at the Battle of Morboria in present-day Tumbani, Argentina.
Jesuit, that's what they're called, the Jesuits. Anyway, the Peace of Royale signaled an end to the opening episodes of the Fronde after little blood had been shed. The articles ended all hostilities and declared all avenues of trade reopened. Alright. Before I post that in the underbar, I'm going to take us up to 1702, in which the Daily Courant, England's first national daily newspaper, was published for the first time. I wonder if they're still around, actually. Let's see here. Daily Courant. Why can't you copy? There we go. Daily Courant. Daily Current. I wonder if it's still going on. Oh, it stopped in 1735, 20th of June. Alright. I'm going to add these two things to the underbar. While I do, why don't you tell us what happened in 1708?
1708, Queen Anne withholds royal assets from the Scottish Militia Bill, the last time British monarchy vetoes legislation.
In 1784, the signing of the Treaty of Mangalore brings the Second Anglo-Mysore War to an end.
Yeah, the Mangalore.
Mangalore.
1795, the Battle of Canada is fought between the Martha Confederacy.
You're roboting really badly.
Well, I can't help that.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
And you're sounding robotic too, but yeah. Also, the Battle of Cardari is fought between the Martha Confederacy and the Lyceum of Hyderabad, resulting in Martha victory.
In 1845, during the Flagstaff War, unhappy with translational differences regarding the Treaty of Waitangi, chiefs Honheki, Kawiti, and Maori tribe members chopped down the British flagpole for a fourth time and drove settlers out of Kororokera, New Zealand. And when will the Brits get the hint? Get out, you know?
Yeah.
Flagstaff.
Also, 1848, Louis Hippolyte Lafontaine and Robert Baldwin become the first prime ministers of the Province of Canada. to be democratically elected under a system of responsible government.
Cool.
Yeah, that's how. Let's see how responsible they are in today's world.
Yeah. Yeah, Canada's not doing so hot today.
That's why I'm saying that.
Yeah. 3 years later, in 1851, the first performance of Rigoletto by Giuseppe Verdi took place in Venice.
Yes. Also, 1861, the American Civil War Constitution of the Confederate States of America is adopted.
Ah. Well,
You're a CSA, you're adopted.
Yeah. Well, they only lasted for 4 years anyway, so. 3 years later, in 1864, the Great Sheffield Flood caused the deaths of 238 people in Sheffield, England.
Damn. Floods are always dangerous.
Yeah.
Also, in 1872, construction of the Seven Sisters Colliery, South Wales begins. It is located on one of the richest coal sources in Britain. Ooh, coal mine?
Yep. That's what a colliery is. It's a coal mine. Let's see here. 7 years later, in 1879, Sho Tai formally abdicated his position of king of Ryukyu under orders from Tokyo, ending the Ryukyu kingdom.
Well, also, okay.
1888.
1888. The Great Blizzard of 1888 begins along the eastern seaboard of the United States, shutting down commerce and killing more than 400. Oh my God! They froze to death.
Yep. All these disasters.
Also in 1917, World War I, the Mesopotamian campaign, Baghdad falls to the Anglo-Indian forces commanded by General Frederick Stanley Maude.
Yeah.
And then there's Maude.
And then there's Maude. Oh, come on, where's Maude? Ah. By the way, for those of you who do not know, Baghdad is located directly on where Babylon used to be. Like, Babylon became Baghdad. So, the more you know.
Yeah.
Jumping up
and
to
Saddam tried making a new He tried making a new Babylon.
Ah. Moving on up to 1927, in New York City, Samuel Roxy Rothfeld opened the Roxy Theater. Cool.
Yep. That's one of the most famous places to go perform at.
Yeah. Moving on up to 1941, during World War II, United States President Franklin D. Roosevelt signed the Lend-Lease Act into law, allowing U.S.-built war supplies to be shipped to the Allies on loan. Cool. I think this is before our involvement in World War I. Yeah. Just, 8 months or so?
Yep. Oh. In World War 1945 and World War 1945 and World War II, the Imperial Japanese Navy attempted a large-scale kamikaze attack on the U.S. Pacific Fleet unanchored at Utili Atoll in Operation Tan Number 2.
Ah, they're getting desperate. So it must be the end closing. So we have before our involvement and near the end of the war. The same day. Also during 1945, also World War II, the Empire of Vietnam, a short-lived Japanese puppet state, was established. So on the same time that they're trying to kamikaze, they're starting a puppet state. It's weird.
Also in 1946, Rudolf Hoss, the first commandant of Auschwitz concentration camp, is captured by British troops.
Good. I hope they
give him a shower.
I hope they tortured the hell out of him. Jumping on up to 1977, the 1977 Hanafi siege, in which around 150 hostages held in Washington, D.C. by Hanafi Muslims were set free after ambassadors from 3 Islamic nations joined negotiations.
Ooh, okay. Also, 1978, Coastal Road Massacre, at least 37 are killed and more than 70 are wounded in the fatal hijack, and Israel bus prompted Israel Operation Litani.
Yeah, it's when Fatah hijacked an Israeli bus, prompting Israel's Operation Litani. What is Operation Litani? Let me look that up. Operation Litani. 1978 South Lebanon conflict. Okay. Well, it's not telling me. Oh, here we go. Operation Litani. It's just telling me to go to south to the conflict. So I'm not gonna read all this, but I'm gonna post this in the underbar for anyone who is interested in Operation Litani. I'm gonna take us up to 1981, in which hundreds of students protested in the University of Pristina in Kosovo, which was then part of Yugoslavia, to give their province more political rights. The protest then became a nationwide movement. Good.
Damn right. Also, in 1983, Bob Hawke is appointed Prime Minister of Australia.
Cool. I wonder who was the Australian Prime Minister who disappeared. Australian PM vanished. It was Harold Holtz. Okay. Jumping on up to 1985, Mikhail Gorbachev was elected to the position of General Secretary of the Communist Party of the Soviet Union, making Gorbachev the USSR de facto and last head of state. Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall! Jumping on up to 1990, Lithuania declared independence from the Soviet Union. Cool.
Good.
And now they're trying to get them back. Putin's trying to reestablish the USSR. So, because after Ukraine, it's definitely eventually going to go after the Baltic states of Lithuania, Latvia, and Estonia, I believe.
Well, there's a lesson between two evils: either join the Soviet Union or join NATO. Both are fucking evil.
Yeah. Yeah, the world really needs a giant reset button in a good way. So, also in 1990, Patricio Aylwin was sworn in as the first democratically elected president of Chile since 1970. Cool.
Yeah.
20 years.
Oh. Yep. Also, here's a huge fucking time skip.
Yeah.
From 1990 to 2004, Madrid train bombings, simultaneously explosions on rush hour trains in Madrid, Spain, killed 191 people.
Jeez. Like, it's really, it's really taking a toll on my psyche, all these bombings that we're constantly talking about. It's just, man, the world's much worse than we actually think. It's just all the stuff that's happened in the past. It's just awful. But not all the stuff, but a lot of the stuff. 2 years later, in 2006, Michelle Bachelet was inaugurated as the first female president of Chile. Well, cool. Chile's getting all sorts of history today, isn't it?
Yes. Also, in 2009, when they're in school shooting, 16 are killed and 11 are injured before recent graduate Tim Kashmir shoots and kills himself, leading to tightening weapons restrictions in Germany.
All weapons restrictions do is, take guns out of people to defend themselves. The bad guys, they're still going to find the guns. And
give money to cartel too.
Yeah, but every time I see stuff like this, like school shootings and everything, all I can think of is false flag, false flag, false flag, narrative, narrative, narrative. Look at Sandy Hook. Look what happened after that. Look at all the stuff that was used. All the events, all the shootings, all the horrible events that have been used to justify and validate gun control laws, which don't do anything to good people. So, wake up, world. Come on.
Hey, there is one thing I used to say that used to piss off gun owners.
What?
Like, people should be able to, they should, make people learn how to take apart their gun and reassemble their gun in order to get a gun.
Yes.
Why not? Why? I will be way more confident in a person that knows his gun inside and out compared to a fucking idiot with a gun.
Well, I mean, the same argument can be made against people with cars. If you're gonna drive a car, because that's a 2,000-pound death machine with controlled explosions under the hood.
Learning how to fix your car is very important too.
That is true. You do have valid points. I don't really have any counter arguments against it. So
it's like when your car breaks down, what you gonna do if you're in the if your car has a flat? What you gonna do? Wait for a fucking tow truck? No.
AAA.
Learn how to fix your own tire.
Yeah. People have got to figure out the skills, of yesteryear. Anyway,
society, some people don't even know how to do that.
I know.
It's horrible.
Well, I don't. I gotta learn that. This is the extent of my knowledge when it comes to cars. When the check engine light comes on, I look under the hood. Yep, it's still there. I don't know what to do beyond that. So.
Yep.
And then again, with how everything is so computer integrated nowadays, you got to be like a master computer wizard just to be able to read the chip and all that crap. Back in the old days where people used to be able to, repair their own cars and all that stuff. That was back when everything was more or less analog. Now everything's digital. So now on top of being a mechanic, you got to be a computer scientist and all that stuff. But anyway, moving on into 2010. Economist and businessman Sebastian Piñera was sworn in as president of Chile, Chile again, aftershocks of the 2010 Fukushima earthquake hit central Chile during the ceremony. Wow, so this guy was such a powerful guy that the very earth shook as he was being inaugurated in. That's cool.
Yeah. Also, 2011, the earthquake measuring 9.0 in magnitude strikes 137 km or 81 miles east of Chilé, Japan, triggering a tsunami killing thousands of people. This event also triggered the second largest nuclear incident in history and one of the only two events to be classified as a level 7 on the International Nuclear Event Scale.
So
that's Fukushima.
Yeah.
That is Fukushima.
Yeah, I was asking that earlier when you said that. So that is Fukushima.
Yeah, that is Fukushima.
Which, by the way, Fukushima is still leaking tons of radioactive, material in the Pacific Ocean to this day. 11 years later.
Hopefully we get a fucking Godzilla.
Yeah. Well, hold on a second. Fukushima radiation, Pacific Ocean. This is why I don't eat seafood anymore. This is a radioactive map. I'll post this in the Micless channel for you, so that way you can see this afterwards. But this is essentially the Pacific Ocean right now. It's so irradiated that it's almost unlivable. Anyway, 365 days later in 2012, a U.S. soldiers killed 16 civilians in the Panjwai district of Afghanistan near Kandahar. Well, that sounds like a massacre.
It is a massacre.
Well, one soldier killed. Yeah. So. Yeah.
Also, 2020, the World Health Organization, or the WHO, declared the COVID-19 virus epidemic a pandemic.
Yeah,
it was not.
It was not. Jumping up to 2021, just last year, Brandon has signed the $1.9 trillion American Rescue Plan into law.
Byron signing laws.
Yep. What is the rescue plan? Also called the COVID-19 stimulus package or American Rescue Plan. Oh, was this the stimulus checks?
Yeah, those stimmies.
Yeah, I never got mine.
The ones that pretty much Trump were giving out at first.
Yeah, and I never got a single penny of any of that. Even though I pay taxes, I don't get anything back. F you, government.
Yeah, you do. When you pay taxes, you get fucking dry anal. Because you got fucked.
Yeah. Yep. Any articles intrigue you today?
Yeah. The 2011 earthquake for Japan. Also, I think Czechoslovakia, or one of them leaving the Soviet Union.
It wasn't Czechoslovakia.
No,
It was
Lithuania.
Lithuania, I think, right?
Yes.
Yeah, 1990. Lithuania? Yeah. I'm going to have to say, Fukushima, of course, obviously, that's a big thing. But also Chile. Chile got a couple mentions today, so that's cool. They were going to name the show today Gun Control, Chile, and Fukushima. So, anyway, moving on into births. 1278, we have Mary of Woodstock, daughter of Edward I of England.
Yeah. Also, oh shit, no. Oh, that was close. Also, 1544, Torquato Tasso, Italian poet and educator.
That made me. That reminded me of that Key and Peele East Meets West. Torque Construction Noise Lewis.
So good.
Yeah. 1738, we have Benjamin Tupper, an American general. Made me wonder who invented Tupperware. So who invented Tupperware? Earl Tupper. Okay. Well, that makes sense.
Also, 1806, Louis Boulanger, French romantic painter, lithographer, and illustrator.
What is a lithographer? Lithography is a planographic printmaking process in which a design is drawn onto a flat stone or prepared metal plate, usually zinc or aluminum, and affixed by means of a chemical reaction. Alright. I'm going to add this to the underbar for anyone interested in lithography. 1815, we have Anna Bockholz, a German operatic soprano, voice teacher, and composer. I think it's a voice teacher involving opera and everything, so she was like, the voice trainer or something.
Because the soprano, it's like a voice thing.
Yeah. Well, soprano is like a high octave, right? Like, ah!
Yes. Also, 1819, Henry Tate, English businessman and philanthropist who founded Tate and Lyle.
1911, we have Sir Fitzroy Maclean, first baronet, Scottish general and politician.
In 1915, we have Vijay Hazare, Indian cricketer.
I wonder how many people are named VJ anymore these days, especially since that's a vernacular for the female anatomy. So. Also, 1915, we have J.C.R. Licklider, a U.S. computer scientist and psychologist. Is he a licklitter or a licker?
Oh, you Cootie Queen, you lit liquor.
Who are you calling Cootie Queen? You lit liquor.
Also, 1929, Timothy Carey, U.S. actor, director, producer, and screenwriter.
Is he related to Jim Carrey? Timothy Carey. Jim Carrey. Nope, it's not telling me anything. I don't think he is, though, because I think Jim Carrey is 2 R's, not 1.
1 R.
Oh, he is?
Yep.
Jim Carrey. No, it's 2 R's. Jim Carrey is 2 R's. Wow, look at that beard, bro. Damn. Anyway, moving on up to 1931, we have Rupert Murdoch, an Australian U.S. businessman and media magnate. He owns Fox News. Rupert Murdoch, a lot of people don't realize, he is a nutjob leftist extremist. He owns Fox News, he owns Sky News Australia, all of these right-wing Republican news sources. No, it's just a way to lie to the people on the opposing team as he is. It's all don't pay attention to mainstream media. I call this one though 1932 Leroy Jenkins, a U.S. violinist and composer. I don't think it's the same Leroy though.
Mhm.
And
also,
yeah,
I
know.
didn't get to hear.
Yeah, I know.
There's no year for Bobby McFerrin.
Yeah, it's Bobby McFerrin. He was born in 1950.
Well, 1950, Bobby McFerrin, U.S. singer, songwriter, and conductor. The song he did was "Don't Worry, Be Happy." And he
Oh,
was the fell down the stairs on Family Guy.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, everybody know that song. Don't worry, be happy.
Don't worry, be happy now. Woo! 1953, we have Jimmy Iovine, a U.S. record producer and businessman who co-founded Beats Electronics. Is that Beats Audio? Like, I thought that was Dr. Dre, or did he take
No,
it
that's a
over?
different one. That's a different one. That's not Beats Audio.
Okay. 1954, we have David Newman, a U.S. composer and conductor. The name is familiar, so let me look it up. Oh, Anastasia, the Brave Little Toaster. So yeah, see, a lot of people don't realize, like, these composers and whatnot. There's not a lot of them. So the majority of movies out there is like more or less composed by the same small group of 10 or 20 people. So. 1959, we have Nina Hartley, a U.S. pornographic goo dumpster / director, sex educator, slut-positive feminist, and author. So, basically, one of the reasons why the world is in such crap is because of people like her. And who was born in 1965?
1965, Jesse Jackson Jr.
What was he?
U.S. lawyer and politician.
Who did he represent? Jesse Jackson.
I don't
Why
know.
is that so familiar?
Because it sounds like Jesse Jackson.
Oh, okay. So, like, who was Jesse Jackson then?
My friend Jesse Jackson is an American politician, political activist, Baptist minister, and politician.
Yeah, this
He
is
was
senior.
He was a candidate for a Democratic presidential nominee in 1984 and 88.
Well, he was involved with Malcolm X, the movie, in 1992.
Yes, he was.
I wonder who this guy was. I can't. The name is so familiar. It's like right there, out of reach. I can't remember who this guy was. The names are. Anyway, let's get into deaths here. 222, we have Elagabalus, a Roman emperor.
Yep. 1198, Maria France, Countess of Champagne.
Yeah, Champagne. I wonder if she was a drunk. 1486, we have Alberich II Achilles, Elector of Brandenburg. Yeah. What is an Elector of Brandenburg? Let me look at that. Elector of Brandenburg.
He's an elector. He elects.
What is Elector of Brandenburg? Its ruling margraves were established as prestigious prince-electors in the Golden Bull of 1356, allowing them to vote in the election of the Holy Roman Emperor. Okay, so I think he had something to do with like electing the Pope or something. I don't know. Anyway, 1863, we have Sir James Outram, 1st Baronet, an English general. And, like, what is a baronet? Like, I keep seeing this 1st Baronet thing. So, I gotta look that up, too. What is a 1st Baronet? A baronet, British hereditary dignity, first created by King James I of England in May 1611. The baronetage is not part of the peerage, nor is it an order of knighthood. A baronet ranks below barons, but above all knights, except in England, Knights of the Garter, and in Scotland, Knights of the Garter and of the Thistle. Alright, so it's a position, not a title. Interesting. Who died today in 1870, Mr. Lunk?
1870, Moshe Shu the first of Lesto.
Yeah, Moshushu. It sounds like Simlish, like Susu, you know? If you've ever played The Sims.
Oh, I have.
1937, well, you want to talk about a time jump. How about 67 years right there? 1937, Joseph S. Cullinan died today. He was a U.S. businessman who co-founded Texaco, the gas station.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Also in 1944, Hendrik Willem van Loon, Dutch U.S. journalist and historian.
I wonder if he was a loon, you know? Like, you know, woohoo.
He sounds like a loon.
Yep. Also, 1944, Edgar Zilsil, he was an Austrian historian and philosopher of science who was linked to the Vienna Circle. I wonder what the Vienna Circle was. Let me look that up real quick. Vienna Circle. The Vienna Circle of Logical Empiricism was a group of philosophers and scientists drawn from the natural and social sciences, logics, and mathematics who met regularly from 1924 to 1936 at the University of Vienna, chaired by Moritz Schick. Alright. (1955).
1955, we have Alexander Fleming, Scottish biologist, pharmacist, and botanist.
Now that name's also familiar. One of the problems of being a historian, especially one of no focus, is all these names start concluding. But Sir Alexander, let's see here. He's best known for discovering the world's first broadly effective antibiotic substance, which he named penicillin. Oh, that's why he's so familiar. He discovered penicillin. Speaking of penicillin, I know I've said this on the show before, but penicillin was not really, like, it was discovered before World War II, but it wasn't really, you know, a big thing until, like a bit before the invasion of Normandy, you know, D-Day, Operation Overlord, June 6, 1944, in which penicillin was widely used, and then because of warfare, you know, technology advanced and everything. That's just how we work as human beings. Unfortunately, we need to kill each other to better ourselves for whatever reason. But anyway, yeah, it's a little brief history of penicillin. You should go check that out. I think Simon Whistler might do a video, might have a video about that. Anyway, 1955 as well, Oscar F. Mayer, a German U.S. businessman who founded Oscar Mayer. Of course, it was a German. You know.
Of course, it's Frankfurt.
Yeah. I do not wish I was an Oscar Mayer wiener. You know the song.
Yeah. Also, 1957, Richard E. Byrd, U.S. Admiral and Explorer.
Another name that is familiar. Richard E. Byrd. Medal of Honor, yada yada. Polar explorer, organized polar logistics. I think he was involved with several of the Antarctic. Oh yeah, he discovered Mount Sidley, the largest dormant volcano in Antarctica. So I think he has something to do with Antarctic expeditions, such like that. Anyway, last but not least, 1984, Gladys Pearl Baker, a U.S. film editor and mother of actress Marilyn Monroe. And that concludes the show. Once again, check the underbar for any links you may be interested in. For your dose of Past Events Daily, we stream every day at around 12 o'clock p.m. Pacific, about noon, which is also
2 o'clock p.m. Central.
Yep. For all of you and all of us, I am Xander.
I am Lunk.
And I forgot to mention, in the underbar, there's a link to what?
Shohin TV on Twitch.
Yep. And everything Omni Coalition. Don't forget to look right, left at every intersection, rate 5 thumbs, and subscribe. Until tomorrow, you'll see us then. Toodles. Let's go, Brandon.
Yes.